Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Bouk and Zoobie show on the world famous LIR.com, 927 LIR.com, and YouTube. I am John Kalaboukas, the Bouk, with my friend Paul Zubulake, Zuby. So we didn't exactly have a great weekend, Mr. Zubulake. A very heart-wrenching loss again for the Jets.
Yeah, John, we wish we were talking to our fans and to each other under a little different circumstances. So, as we've talked about a lot, John, this is a franchise that has two different fan bases, the old ones and the young ones. And the old guys like you and me just see through it all and say, it sounds great, but you lost. And there's no moral victories. The good news is the coach feels the same way. So I'm happy to report that. The young fans, they see promise. And despite the fact that the franchise has not made the playoffs in 14 seasons, they're okay with making it 15 because they do see promise. So I don't know if old fans like us can really get excited about what's happening. But there is enough good things to keep us watching for at least another week.
Yeah, and with the way the defense is played in the AFC, there's definitely a chance for the Jets to maybe pull off an upset this week because the Bills certainly did not play defense. I don't think anyone in the AFC played any defense at all.
Well,
Uh,
we'll definitely get to around the league, but we're going to just zero in on the Jets, and then we'll get to the Giants, folks, because as the Giants are still the number one story in the city when it comes to football. Let's face it. But since we're Jet podcast for the most part, right, John? We'll talk about them. We'll get to the Giants, and like I said, around the league. So when it comes down to it, the defense made so many mistakes in this game where they made Aaron Rodgers look like the old Aaron Rodgers. But I think he's still Aaron Rodgers who's old. And the Jets have a good pass rush, but they don't have a great pass rush. And it's going to be very interesting to see from a Steeler perspective because there were some pretty high profile names. Adam Shine, who was gushing over Aaron Rodgers' performance, kind of more based on his absurdity last year when he picked the Jets to win the Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. So, like any guy who likes to make predictions, he'll never let it die and say he made a mistake. He is now moving it over to Pittsburgh, but this is not the Adam Shine show. But I did have to mention, I just find it hysterical where it was like, I mean, Rodgers looked good, but he also looked old.
yes,
And it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be very interesting to see how it plays out. But
yeah,
again, the Jets defense left guys wide
wide
open
open.
all over the place. There were breakdowns galore, and they have huge problems in the secondary, led by their corner, Brandon Stevens,
Oh,
and their safeties, who are both slow. Andre Cisco and Tony Adams.
yeah,
So Adams had a huge missed tackle right in the beginning of the game, kind
yep.
of set the tone. And they're just too slow. So those guys are slow. Stevens can cover, but he's got this issue where he likes to grab the receivers at the worst possible time. And then the zebras love to throw flags on him. So when you have a reputation for that, and it follows you. So that's a spot, John, that they have to improve on so much. And we're not in the meetings, right? We're not watching the tape with the team. We have no idea who's ultimately responsible for these receivers who were most of the time they were cutting across the field. And the Jets were so vulnerable to that, where they were just not communicating and making sure that any guys who are crossing the field are being accounted for. So there were multiple plays like that.
Blown coverages. Stevens, they were targeting him the entire game, and it was clear because they kept beating him time after time. Um, you know, the one thing I wish they would do in the NFL is, with the pass interference. I mean, some of them are ticky tack
Yep, that was a tough
touches.
one.
It's really, really tough to, both of them are going for the ball, particularly the last one. And I'm saying to myself, he would not have caught it anyway, even if he was touched. I mean, they really have to take a look at that. Does the guy have a chance to catch the ball? If he doesn't, no pass interference.
Well,
And
yeah,
barely touching.
I mean, he
You know,
got his
they,
head back. He did grab him. You can argue that's kept him from extending. I agree. He probably wasn't making that play. I mean, but again, this is what bad teams and bad franchises happens to them consistently.
yeah,
And and that was obviously a crucial play. So on the bright side, Sauce Gardner played like he played his first 2 years. That
yes, he
was
did.
huge. He followed DK Metcalf around the field. That is a great new development. The pass rush was good. Will McDonald had a very good game. And our good buddy Quinnen Williams had a great game.
Yes,
And
he did.
John, you know how I've been talking and harping on this thing ever since we started this show, where I like to kind of even go after the best players sometimes. And one thing I always, a huge problem with Quinnen Williams, and it's probably more, it's ultimately coaching more than anything, is that he does not play enough plays. And he played, John, 77% of the plays. I'm not going to say it's a career high, but it's very close. That was great to see. And it was a little scary on those 23% of the defensive snaps when he wasn't on the field
Yep,
because the Jets could not stop the run when he was off the field.
yep.
So to say, who is the most MVP of this defense, it's pretty obvious. It's Big Q, Quinnen Williams. So that is the good news. There's, they've got some talent on the front seven. Their linebackers played solid. Quincy Williams just cannot make that. That penalty was a crucial penalty,
Yes, it was.
ridiculously hitting him out of bounds.
It was ridiculous.
So that was a big demerit on him. But that's like kind of like going into the depth of the game, where I mean the Jets, John, before half they had a 9-point lead, and they gave up that touchdown before the half. And I thought Darren Glenn, and we'll talk about it right now because we're kind of talking about the defense, and this was a defensive series where I don't know what you thought about this, but my view is when it's at the end of the half, I'm not getting so bent out of shape about this who gets the ball in the third quarter because ultimately teams are deferring to the third quarter, to get the second half kickoff because they want to be able to score at the end of the first half and then score in the first drive. And I get it. But if you lose the toss, you can't defer, you're stuck. So you're going to get the ball first and you got to make sure you do something with the ball. So I don't get why Aaron Glenn thought it was necessary for the Jets to use their timeouts in that situation where the Steelers were like around midfield where we're stopping the clock. Maybe they were in the Jets territory where I'm sitting there. I'm like, Aaron, keep your timeouts. Let them use their timeouts
Right?
or let the clock dwindle out. You're winning the game by 9 points. Why did you make it easier on them? They gave them more time to score a touchdown. What did you think of that?
Yeah, it's pretty funny you brought that up because I was saying the same exact thing. I said, what are they doing? It's like one of those things. Again, we're not behind the scenes, but we've been around watching football long enough to understand that the Jets coaches are known for misusing their timeouts. I mean, very poor time management. So it's pretty funny you brought that up because I was thinking the same exact thing. I said, what are they doing?
Right.
And
And
I said
ultimately,
the same thing. Who cares if they get the ball back? You just stop them the
right,
first time in the third quarter. Who cares? And
right.
they did. And actually, they did.
They probably, yeah. So I can't. Yeah, that's a great part of it. But I just don't get it. So then the Steelers score with like what 36 seconds to go in the half, So there's just then you put the Jets in a situation where they don't have enough time to do anything. So
Yep.
it didn't work out anyway. He still didn't have enough time. All he did was give them more time to get in the end zone, and that was a big momentum shift. And I just thought from a first time head coach, those things are going to happen. And I'm not really again because he's so bent out of shape, John, about getting the ball back for one more possession. But if you get it back with like 30 seconds and no timeouts, that can backfire as well. Now, there was an example in the game last night where actually
Yes.
they did it. So it can go both ways. So I'm not going to make, the Jets did not lose the game because of this whole thing. I just was something that hopefully it's a lesson learned. And I just, like you said, the time management is something that, he'll argue that, I'm sure, against me on that because, it's like, oh, stop him right now. And then we got 2 minutes to go and we can get more points. But I just thought it was a bad move. So anyway, so that I tied that into the defense. We'll get into the offense. I mean, let's face it, a few things the most obvious, Justin Fields played a great game.
He did.
He was
Yeah.
tremendous in the pocket. His decision making was great. His accuracy was really solid. He played a great game. 2, Breece Hall is the number 1 running back for the Jets. He proved it. I like Braylon Allen. This is not knocking Braylon Allen. Braylon Allen is a good second. Breece Hall is a game changer. Now, we've talked about this, John, many times, and this is playing out in the worst scenario I could ever imagine, where he is now playing for a big contract.
Yeah.
Of course, he's going to get a contract. And with running backs now getting more and then people are realizing it went crazy, right? The market was nuts. Like, oh, running backs they're not valuable at all. And now they're becoming extremely valuable where they're getting paid again. So
Yeah.
this is and I'm putting it out after week 1. This is scaring me, John, that Breece Hall has this huge year and leaves the Jets, as I predicted, I think 2 years ago.
Yeah. He played a great game. I mean, he's just a great running back. I mean, he spots the openings and once he gets rolling, man, he's quick, really, really
Quick,
quick.
and he's strong. He's tough to
Yeah.
take down. All right, so let's get to the other good stuff. And I'll get to one negative thing that people probably rip me for. Okay, positive, the offensive line. What a great game. Armand Membu, John, rookie right tackle,
Yeah.
completely stops TJ Watt from being an impact player
Yeah.
and buried him on one particular play. It was great to see. What a debut. Olufa Fashanu played also really well, but he gave up that one sack to Highsmith, who came on the
Yeah.
inside. Can't
Yeah.
happen. John Simpson had a great game. And then Myers and Tippmann also played well. So that is a huge development, how good they played. That was, to me, the story of the game, honestly, that Membu played that well. There was definitely a lot of concern with this matchup. All right. Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson, I think, proved that he is not a top player. Now, people are going to be like, are you crazy? You try to make that play. Well, I got to tell you, John, when the game is on the line and you catch the ball, if you're getting hit by Ray Lewis, okay, maybe Jalen Ramsey separated Wilson from that ball on that play. Now, Justin Fields probably should have ran it. He probably should have, but I understand because he saw 3 guys coming at him and he saw him open and he made actually a nice throw.
Yeah.
I think Garrett Wilson's got to make that play. What do you think on that?
He should have caught that. He should actually maintain possession. He caught it.
Yeah.
He didn't maintain possession. Yeah. It wasn't that hard hit.
Oh, it's
It wasn't
Jalen
like one of
Ramsey.
those
He's not
things
a
that
big guy. Ramsey's not a big guy. He
right,
can't hit you
right,
that hard. And
right. It
easy again.
wasn't
People are going to be like, "You're nuts." Yeah, but it's like I'm
it
not a
wasn't one of
wide
those bone
receiver.
crushing hits at all. That wasn't a bone crushing hit that debilitates the guy. It was a normal hit, like you said, from an undersized guy.
And
He
even, I
should
mean,
have, he
it
should
was a
have
good
held on
hit.
to that.
It was right. He hit him at the perfect spot. The timing was perfect, but he had possession, and if he was able to withstand the hit, it's first down.
Yeah, yeah,
So I, I'm not, obviously Wilson's their best player. I'm just saying, is he a top receiver in the NFL? Because top receivers, I don't think they make that play. Now, you can argue that. I'm not going to go crazy about it.
well,
The other, the supporting cast on offense, quickly, John. Uh, Nobody did anything wrong, right? Nobody did anything that stood out. It was great to see Jeremy Ruckert actually make a couple of plays,
yeah,
two
yeah,
first down catches, right? Taylor only had one target. And another thing we talked about, right? Getting the ball down the field where the only time, John, the Jets threw the ball over, say, 30 yards was the touchdown that
yeah.
he threw to Wilson.
And that was a
And that
beautiful
was
throw.
great to see. It was everything was beautiful about it. Why didn't we see that again? Why did we not see that again? I just don't understand it. So I was very happy to see it. The Steelers, Joey Porter went out of that game. That one of their, their top corner. I guess it's a coin flip between him and Ramsey. So they had that advantage. He went out in the second half. But you can't kill the offense because they had a great game ultimately, right? The
Yes, it did.
defense lost them the game. The special teams, which is obviously last. Now,
Yeah,
okay. The thing is with Gibson ultimately is a punt returner, and he's not a kick returner. Now, Ngwanku, again, gets hurt. I mean, only the Jets. This guy, they sign him off he basically got released by the Vikings. They had him on the practice squad all last year. He runs a kickback in like meaningless games. And we're like, where's this guy been all year? He gets immediately hurt, misses the rest of the year. We're thinking he's the kick returner this year, which is it's a whole new ball game, John, right? Whole new
yeah,
ball game,
yeah,
which of course we talked about moving it back to at least the 35, kind of a no-brainer, and it's working. Where he gets hurt, so Xavier Gibson now has to return kicks, and he makes the most basic mistake where it's almost he's uncomfortable carrying the ball with the left arm because he did it later in the game too. It's the same thing.
yeah,
So
yeah,
he's just uncomfortable, and you can't be an NFL kick returner if you can't move the ball from one arm to the other. You can't, you're exposing the ball. Exactly what happened. And that play, with the poor play of the defense, the special teams, and let's face it, the Steelers' special teams were better. I mean, the kicking situation we'll get to as well.
ugh,
In the whole league. This is crazy what's going on. But anyway, so a shared blame on the defeat on that. But overall, you're looking forward to this game this week against the Bills. But the reality is, John, this is two home games in a row, and if they're 0-2 going to Tampa on the road, this could just go back into the same sort of stuff we've seen year after year,
yeah.
and hopefully that doesn't happen.
The one thing that you're going to bring up about the kicking, but as a result of the terrible kicker we have that can't make an extra point, breath if he's going to make an extra point, is the fact that they went after all these 2-point conversions,
Yeah,
which
they were chasing the point. Well, John,
totally changed the game because if you have someone that can make it's a very simple kick, okay, to get that extra point, and you got to hold your breath every time this man. I mean, I just couldn't believe he missed the extra point. First of all,
well,
and that's
it's
they started. I mean, it started this off. Once he missed it, then all of a sudden, okay, well, we have to go for the 2 points the next time, and then we got to go for, and then they missed one. Then they got to go for another one to make up for the prior to it. It's just
yeah.
a snowball. He snowballed.
Well, I agree, but he made the right move. You're supposed to do that, right? So
No,
because
no,
he
he had
missed the
to do
kick,
it, but I'm
he
saying,
missed the kick. So it wasn't like you were taking a point off the board. You actually missed the kick. They
Right.
just move it from a 33-yard extra point to a 28-yard extra point, so he still has to make it.
Yeah.
And from the 1 yard line, you got to be able to score.
Right.
And I just hated the play because, John, I was just like, this is a perfect opportunity. Fake it to Allen
Right.
and get him on the outside, get Fields on
Correct.
the outside, which of course they did later for the touchdown. So it's just these little things that you just they add up to losing, and that's what happened. And there's just a lot of good things that happened, so we're definitely you got to be happy. But you could look
Was.
at it the other way, John. Justin Fields played his best game and they still lost. Maybe he can't do this. Maybe he can't replicate it.
We'll see against the Bills.
We'll find out quickly.
We'll
We'll
find
find out
out. But
quickly because yes,
I have to say the running game was fantastic. I loved it. I loved watching it. It was what we expected to happen. But again, Fields showed some talent getting the ball to his receivers too. He was very accurate. Even when they were, uh, you know, going after him. I mean, his mobility and
right.
and actually the ability to spot the receivers is, he did it so many times. I said, okay, listen, at least we have a
Outstanding.
mobile quarterback for the first time because we haven't had that in a very long time.
Right. He keeps his eyes down the field. At least this week he did. And he just had a great game. He really did.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
kudos to
no,
the
I was very
coaches.
happy with him.
Kudos to the coaches on offense. I'll complain on the 2 point call. I just think Fields is such a weapon, John. On these short yardage plays, they don't obviously not going to do it every time, but they can mix it up with. They could just
Well,
fake it to the running back and get him on the outside. These guys, they can't catch him. He's too
no,
fast and he's strong and he's lengthy. He's long, so
yeah.
he's going to be such a weapon on those short yardage. So
Well, the Bills
yeah.
do it with, the Bills do it, the Ravens do it. Why not the Jets?
Well, you're talking about, so that's what's so, I guess, I don't want to say good because it's scary to be 0-2 facing the Bills, who, again, we'll get to them around the league, but we know who the number one team is in the AFC East. It's obvious. The good news is the bottom feeders look like the Jets may be above the bottom feeders, but one game, we're not going to get too crazy either way. We're going to
We're
tell it
not going to
like
get
it
crazy.
is. There were some great things that happened, John. There really was. But this is just unacceptable to lose. Now, after the game, you're seeing the smiles on the field. And I think the play, I'm not saying you should be crying and throwing your helmet, congratulate your, guys on the other team. That's sportsmanship. But the smiling, I could do without.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that Glenn says I'm not into moral victories. I'm glad that he said that because you're so tired of hearing these coaches. Yeah, we played, this
Yeah.
and that. He was not. He, he was positive, but he also said, "I'm not into moral victories. And we have a lot of things that we have to address." So, all
Yeah.
right, good,
They were obvious. It's on defense. You just cannot have blown coverages. If the
correct.
other, like the one that Stevens, okay, that questionable pass interference, he's in the position to make a play. Numerous plays, as we discussed, where the
Yes,
receivers were wide open.
wide
That's a
open.
blown coverage. That stuff cannot happen. It cannot happen in the NFL. The players are too good. Obviously, a veteran like Rodgers. I mean, how many times they run that bootleg where the guys were wide open crossing the
Yeah,
field? It's like, man, oh man, come on.
yeah.
So, all right, I think probably that's enough about the Jets. What do you think? Anything else you want to throw out there? I know we have to wrap up.
You're going to laugh about this. It's a
Uh,
little late, but they have a series that they just released like a month ago on Amazon Prime. So if any of you have wives that can constantly order stuff from Amazon, you get Amazon Prime for free. So they have this thing called the Home Team, and it's about the 2024 season of the Jets. And the people that they have on this are no longer with the team. The only one that was actually the only two that were left on that were Vera Tucker and Quinn Williams. The rest of them are all on other teams, but it actually shows the family life of all these different players, and
Right.
and
I
they
heard
happen to
about it.
follow the Jets
Yeah.
from
I'm
last
not
year.
rehashing 2024.
No, no, it's a little bit of a different series. It shows them with their families and
Right.
how they handle the NFL season. But anyway, other than that,
That's a good plug. Yeah, it's
but
nuts.
by the
Just watch.
way, we
Yes, sir.
we didn't speak about this, but um, I don't understand. I mean, we really could have used a Malachi Corley getting released by the Jets.
Yeah. Well, John, I think it's between the years, man. He had that ridiculous play last year where he drops the ball before he scores. John, some of these guys just don't know what it takes. It's not college. He played at Western Kentucky. He has talent, you could see it,
Yeah,
but it's definitely in between the years, and there's definitely a little bit of an attitude. And now he's getting sobered up on the Browns practice squad, right? So that's who
yeah,
ended up signing him.
yep.
Yeah, no, it's a shame because they just don't have talent. They're playing Tyler Johnson and Josh Reynolds. I mean, these guys are just average players. We didn't see Arian Smith. Basically, I think he played like 6 snaps.
Well, what
That was
about
kind of
Lazard? Was a
inactive. Lazard
healthy, you know?
scratch, healthy scratch. Yeah,
Yeah.
inactive. Woody Johnson saves 15 grand. By the way, he has like a roster bonus. So he doesn't play. He loses $15,000. I'm sure Woody was like, okay, I'm okay with that decision. That'll pay for the crudité and the sushi during the game. So let's get off the Jets because we have so much to talk about as
Yeah.
always
Yes,
on
we
the
do.
Bouk and Zoobie show. And of course, thank you everybody. As always, thank our good friend Lieutenant Dan for the NFL preview show last week. So people who haven't seen it, please check it out. Dan being a Giant fan is a good way to segue in. But as always, folks, we're very, always happy to thank everybody. YouTube.com for our viewers, Spotify.com for our listeners. You got to search the show on YouTube if you're a Spotify user. Bouk, B-O-U-K, and Zoobie, Z-O-O-B-I-E. And our buddies at the world famous LIR.com, 927LIR.com. Appreciate being on that platform. Their support all these years. And we are a word of mouth show, right, John?
Yeah.
So tell your friends.
Tell your friends.
So I missed that little shtick last week. I think Dan was a little disappointed, but he's not as disappointed as from the absolutely. Now, it was a little tough because we talked about this last week, and it's happening again this week, John. The tri-state area folks is kind of getting screwed from watching both teams, both playing at 1 o'clock. I had my little extra iPad TV out there, John, so I did watch. I was watching when I could, so I can't go too in depth, but I saw enough where what we talked about last week, and we asked Dan, when is the pressure going to start to replace Jackson Dart? Little did we think it would happen after week 1.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And, I'm sure Lieutenant Dan is listening to this. I tried in a very diplomatic way to let him know that they were going to lose, and they lost. It wasn't much of a game. It was actually really, really boring game. I was going back and forth. I don't really watch on an iPad, but I was going back and forth. And I have to say, Russell Wilson time, you know what? I would make the change already. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. What do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? Put the kid in already. There was nothing there. He
Well,
wasn't, it's one thing when you lose the way the Jets did, where you saw some leadership, you saw some hope. You didn't see anything. Of, I mean, the defense played okay, but offensively, it was what a disaster. I'm telling you, if you put Dart in now, it's going to be a completely different feel for that team. And let him play. Look, McCarthy was playing yesterday. Who would have thought he was going to come back the way he did?
all right,
That's
we'll get to
something
that
different.
later.
That's something different. But It's, I have to disagree with Lieutenant Dan. Dart needs to learn on the job because Russell Wilson is just not the guy.
All right, so that's your evaluation. So I can't disagree with you. He's got the start for the next game, the Cowboys. Wilson, it's already announced. So Daboll did say that. So
Does it last until the second quarter? If he's
I
doing,
think he's got one. I think this is it. I think this is it for Russell Wilson. He must play well. I think you have to give him the whole game, unless he's a disaster. If it's a disaster, you could pull him. But I would try to let him play the whole game. I think after that, John, 0-2, we talked about this with the Giants schedule. Kansas City and the Chargers, I believe, are game 3 and 4. I mean, they're
oof,
at home, but let's face
oof,
it, the MetLife home advantage is not like it used to be. Pre PSLs, right? It's not like that anymore, folks. Jets and Giants, tons of opposing fans. I mean, the Steeler fan was ridiculous, as
yeah,
we discussed.
yeah,
But anyway, yeah, you're definitely right, John. Their big problem is their O line. We talked about it. Andrew Thomas not playing, John. What is that all about? I mean, he's got to be in there, and they're just not good up front. So they got to get Thomas back, and you're going to see the kid. There's no doubt. It's just not it's the old not if when. But the Dayball Shane connection, John, Shane, whatever you want to call him, as always, Joe, right? Is that do they want to play Dart that early? Because what happens if he struggles mightily and everybody's all over him, like, "What are you doing? You're ruining the kid. Let's just get a whole." So so no. Look at it this way: the head coach and the GM, their hands will be forced, right? Ultimately, because if they keep losing games, Dart's going to play. But it actually benefits both of those guys that Dart plays later rather than early.
of course,
Obviously,
of
one,
course,
because they win a few games.
of
That
course.
team, yeah, Dan had him in the playoffs. I'm sure he's reevaluating that decision. But on the other hand, let's give the Commanders credit. One of my teams, again, I'm on the record with Jaden Daniels, didn't have a great game, but ultimately, I mean, he looks like a seasoned veteran in year two,
Yes, he does.
and he looks like one of the top quarterbacks in the league. So they did face tough competition. So with Debo Samuel on that team, that adds another huge weapon. So they might be playing one of the better teams in the NFC. I mean, Dallas obviously played a lot better than people thought. So that's
Yeah,
going to be a test on the road. Dallas has got to win too.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I think ultimately you're right. I mean, this whole season with the Giants. I mean, I just can't see Daboll surviving, John. I don't see it. Jackson Dart will have to save him. That would be this basically his only hope.
And at least it gives the Giant fans some hope because, like I said, Wilson didn't show any type of leadership whatsoever. I mean, 6 points? That's pathetic. It's not like Washington is, that they could stop every play or stop it. I mean, they had chances to score touchdowns and they had to settle for the field goals. So I'm telling you, Wilson is not the answer. You and I were shocked when they actually signed him. I didn't think much of it. I figure, all right, maybe he's going to be a backup, or I just couldn't imagine him being a starting quarterback. I mean, everyone's saying, "Oh, he's going to be starting." I'm like, really? That's going to be your starting quarterback? So, uh,
Well, I'll tell you, if Neighbors was making the decision, it would have been made during that game. So what did they have another? They had a blowout again. Is this I saw a few things. He had the towel over his head, and he's another one of these guys, John. He's a loose cannon. He's got tons of talent, but there's a lack of maturity there. So Dayball I think he's just in a bad situation because we talked about this numerous times. He came in as the head coach as more of a madman and he got results. They made the playoffs. Then they didn't make the playoffs. Oh, then he's going to change into trying to be the nice guy and everybody's buddy. And when you are pretending, you're pretending to be something that you're not. Like they smoke that out, John. And
Well,
there's a struggle. There's struggles going on now. I don't know what's going on in the room, and neighbors may just be a bad guy, or just like I said, very immature.
did you see? I don't know if you saw the body line when they were arguing, and then Dable actually almost looked like he was going in for like a hug, and then he pulled away. The kid pulled away from him, and then he just patted him like this. I was like, okay, that didn't look very good.
I didn't really see that in detail. I knew it happened. I wasn't really paying attention. It was
Yeah,
more like
yeah.
turning
He
my head. I'm like, oh, what
actually
happened there?
extended his arms out like he was gonna hug him, and the kid moved away, and then he just patted him on the shoulder. I'm like, yeah, that was that wasn't
Yeah.
didn't look good. Didn't look good.
And I feel bad for the coach because you have to be who you are. You just have to be
Right.
who you are. You cannot be something else. And if you're not a hugger, they know you're not a hugger, and that doesn't mean you have to like embarrass the player. But I think that he's going to have to go back to his old ways to get results because he's got to get results. He's got
Yep.
to.
Yep.
Because what even if Dart plays, John, they win 6 or 7 games. I mean, is that going to be enough for another year? I mean, these two franchises in the tri-state area. I mean, it's been going. I mean, the Giants have some Super Bowls in their pocket, so they have a little more credibility. But I mean, this is just getting ridiculous. I mean, and we hope that Aaron Glenn is a guy that is different and will lead them hopefully to some success. I'm relatively optimistic on that front. But I mean, John, this is nonstop. I mean, we're going to talk about this all year. I don't know if Bouk and Zoobie can make it through the season if it's going to be loss after loss.
Yeah. And I again, I I'm still optimistic about the Giants, but I would feel a lot better if they had a different quarterback.
All right. So that's the review. We're not going into the major detail, I guess, because we were watching the Jets and the Giants, mostly the Jets. It's hard because I can't tell you like what was the turning point. It just seemed that the Commanders were kind of in charge most of the game,
Yes, they were.
and it wasn't really anything that. I mean, I don't know why. What people like you said, people thought they were going to win that game. I didn't agree. I thought the
No,
Jets
they
act. I
weren't.
picked the Jets over Pittsburgh, right? And they should have beat them, but
Yeah,
picking is not that easy, as we'll discuss
yeah,
later.
yeah.
Anyway, John, we got to move on. Let's get around the league quickly. Obviously, the marquee game. I mean, it's so tough when the season starts on a Thursday and then there's a Friday game from Brazil. So it was good to see the Chiefs lose. So that will throw that out there. But there's no doubt the marquee game, Sunday night football, another just battle where, I mean, you could see the Buffalo's defense is vulnerable
Oh
and
yeah.
they definitely have some problems. Now, you and I both picked the Ravens to win the Super Bowl, John. I don't feel any differently now. I really don't. I just find that hey, sometimes give Josh Allen credit. The guy's tremendous, but there's a little luck involved too. And Derrick Henry, who had this incredible game, has a turnover at the absolute worst time, and they came back and not once where they missed a two-pointer, they immediately stopped them, and that was a little why it wasn't the Ravens a little more aggressive
Yeah, yeah,
as a you're up by two, man. You can't give the ball up. And that's going to be my little mini segue to the field goal situation because I don't know if do you know the whole story now with the K ball, right? For years, it's been for a long time where the NFL has a ball, special football for kicking that is not broken into, like it's just hard. It's like a rock. They try to
mhm,
make it difficult for the kickers. And then we find out, of course, with the NFL, right, John, always no transparency league. Suddenly there's, oh, by the way, they changed the rules. Maybe it happened during the rule change phase. I don't remember. We're finding out that now the kickers can basically have their own type of nice broken in beat up foot not beat up but football that they can kick a mile and we've seen it already, these long kicks left and right. I mean, Boswell made that 60-yarder look, no problem.
Oh,
So
yeah,
it's
that was
changing.
65 if
Right.
you really look at it.
Easy. So it's changing the dynamic of the end of these games where a field goal, and it happened with the Minnesota game where they got one too, 59-yarder right before the half, where you can actually, if you make one play, put yourself in field goal range. It's a totally right. It's a totally
Yeah,
different game now.
yeah,
The
yeah.
range is out like 10 yards, man. It's like 10 yards for these guys. So I just think it's bad for the game. I don't know. I don't like this. Especially when we have
Well,
Nick Folk, who doesn't have a big leg.
oh
He
God,
barely
I was
made
just
his
ready to say,
51 yarder.
especially that the Jets have a 41-year-old trying
Yes,
to make 40 yards, and these guys
he
are kicking 60.
right. He made a long field goal. I think it was 51, Folk, but
Yeah,
it
he did.
barely made it. These guys are clearing the bar by 10, 15 yards. It's going to change the game. The dynamic kickoff now, which is now really a kickoff,
Much
you
better.
really have to you got to learn how to break these plays. And you need a guy returning kicks who can break tackles, not a guy like Xavier Gibson who's small. You got it. Guys can break it one or two tackles on these returns.
Yeah,
I'd like to see Brees Hall return one of these kicks. I think that would be pretty interesting, especially
yeah.
if you're not going to re-sign him.
Well,
Anyway,
you're right about the dynamic kickoff. That there's not. I didn't see not one knee taken or fair
I think I saw a couple on the
NCA.
Friday. The interesting thing to point out on the Friday night game, KC's kicker Buckner, the infamous landing zone, right? So he kicked it, which I think it's the goal line to the 20. The ball, if the ball hits on the 22 or the 21, it's automatically to the 40. He kicked it, John, like on a line drive where it hit at like the 8-yard line and went into the end zone. That's at the 20, not the 35.
Yeah,
And of course, the announcers booted that. I mean, come on, guys. I think it was Eisen and whoever it was. They had that wrong. They were like saying it's out to the 35. I'm like, dude, that's out to the 20. That's a big thing. So the dynamic kickoff change rule, bringing the touchback to 35, is changing the game. The the ball for these field goal kickers is changing the games. Those are like kind of like the things that I'm like picking out as it's just something really, it's changing things. And the other thing I'm happy to report was that I didn't I saw a good amount of games. For the most part, the referees kind of stayed out of it. I mean, there were a
yeah.
few calls, obviously, that we could have done that without. But none of this expedited replay. I didn't see any game that really kind of came into play
No,
where
no.
suddenly some weird thing happened where the guy in the booth in Secaucus, New Jersey, changes something on the field. I'm sure there was something, folks. I did not see every game, even though I found out during the day that the red zone was given out, I guess, for free to everybody. I don't know if you knew that. So, or at least depending on your package. So I actually had the red zone, which I paid for last year. I've yet to pay for it. Anyway, what else you got, John?
Um, well, we should talk about your your pick of the week, which I would like to say that after the third quarter, after that interception, I decided to go to sleep. I said, "Oh, Mr. Zuby was able to, make a correct pick." And then the next thing I know, I wake up and I find out that the Vikings came back.
John. Picking games, you think it's easy. You're like, I'll just pick one a week. I'm going to get a few right. So I took a rough defeat where, like you said, after that interception return, I would have said it was 99% chance they were going to win
Yeah.
that game. But what happened in this game, and this is also a kicker impact, and another thing I really want to talk about because it just drives me nuts. In the first quarter of the game, I believe the Bears were already up by 3. I think I have this right because I watched too many games. And they had it was like 4th and 3 in field goal range, or maybe it was no score. I can't remember. They went for it and they missed. Now, what's happening, and it's much more in college football, which is insane what's happening with these fourth down stuff, where these coaches are now going for it willy-nilly on fourth down because the analytics say so. In the first quarter of the game, get points, man.
I
And I
agree.
think they were right. They were up 7-0 because they scored on the first drive. So they could have been, I believe they could have been up 10-0, right? Because I think it was 7-0, then they made it 7-3. They could have made it 10-3, which they eventually did anyway, but they would have made it 13-3.
Sure, sure.
They lose the game by 3. These calls in the beginning of the game, it's not fourth and a yard or less, 3 yards. That's just like any other third down conversion type of play. And
Yeah.
guess what? On fourth down, you don't get another try. So I just find this strategy, which people now like, oh, it's great, he's aggressive. And of course, anytime it backfires, they never mention it. Never. So that's game, yeah, amazingly. And give credit to the kid, right? Give it credit to what's his name, J.J. McCarthy. He really played great in the second half. Credit to the coaches. McConnell's a great coach, John. The guy's a top coach. And Ben Johnson's going to be a good coach, but he's a first-year coach too. They made more mistakes. There were a few phantom penalties. I mean, there was a hold that they called on the Bears when they were up and they were driving and they called a hold instead of being like a good pickup. It was 1st and 20. And then they show the replay that, it was the right tackle. The end comes in and he just basically almost falls down. And then it was right. He just fell on him. He didn't drag him down. The guy fell on his own, like when they collided a little, but he
Yeah.
fell. They
Yeah.
called it a
Yeah.
hold. So it's and this is the Bears at home. I mean, the Bears are like the Jets of the NFC. It's like you watch them play. They make dumb mistakes. They seem like they should win the games that they play, but they lost. So anyway, yes,
The funny thing is what you just said. My wife told me that today. She goes, the Bears and the Jets are the same exact type of team. She goes, they just can't find a way to win.
right. And the Bears have 1985 and the Jets have 1969-70, right? So it's funny. The franchises do have these one, and depending on how old you are, you remember. And actually, they brought everybody back, by the way, right? They were, so I guess
Well,
obviously how many years? 40 years of the 85 Bears, probably one of the best teams we've seen in our
oh
life,
yeah.
right? Obviously
And
for
by
the
the
Beatles.
way,
Yes,
I
sir.
had texted you, but they have a book. I'm going to throw out a book here by Seth Wickersham. It's
Hmm.
called American Kings, and it's a book about how quarterbacks are developed. And part of that was Williams from the Bears. It's in the book. The coaches found out just recently that he has dyslexia because they couldn't understand why he couldn't read the plays, why he couldn't understand the plays. And they realized after several months ago, according to this book, that he has dyslexia. So they're doing different things to help him out. The fact is he played pretty well last year, and knowing that he has this dyslexia, I mean, he did pretty well last year considering.
What do you mean, last night or last year or both? I mean, he
Yeah,
did a
last year and last night.
I mean, he played well. He
Yeah,
he has great escapability.
right,
They were hurting on defense. The Bears, like their top corner was out and their slot back was out, so they were shorthanded. He played well. Yeah, it's just hey, we're only talking about it because it was the pick of the week. So,
right.
John, like every great prognosticator, you have to get right back up on the horse. So again,
Well,
folks, yes, what?
and for being that we just spoke about your last week's pick of the week, we're gonna give now Zuby the Greek's pick of the week.
Thank you, John. And yeah, so we're not going to rant anymore. We're going to do picks of the week for the rest of the football season. John, I will bench myself. I will bench myself if I'm stinking it up. Give me a few more weeks. I'll have a few more weeks than Russell Wilson probably. But if I stink it up as a prognosticator, you're coming in, Johnny the Greek. Since we're both Greek, Maybe one of
I'll,
us can pull it off.
I'll
So
be the Jackson Dart of the Bouk and Zoobie show.
exactly. So I'll do it. I'll one show. I'll just say bring them in, bring in the relief. All right, folks. I'm gonna be quick. This is not a game that anybody is gonna watch. That's why I like picking it. So I think maybe one of the sleepers, and I'm a little disappointed. I was so wimpy on my playoff picks when I'm looking at it, of course, after week one, where I didn't really have too many surprises, which is a mistake. So I'm going with one of these teams I think may be a borderline playoff team. They got to win on the road against probably one of the worst teams in the league, but they did won by 7, and that's all they have to do, John, at home in their home opener against the Carolina Panthers. So just like the first week where I went against the Vikings in a way, and JJ made me pay, I'm going with Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals minus 6.5. You got to pay a little odds there, folks, not that much, to beat the Carolina Panthers by more than that amount. So
Hmm.
that is the Zuby pick of the week.
And can I ask you,
Yes, sir.
why are you picking the Cardinals?
I
Is it
think they're a
because of
surprise
Murray
team.
or?
No, no, not about Murray. Actually, I think they're just a little kind of flying under the radar. Their defense is much improved. They played well in spots last year. This is their home opener, and they're 1-0 against a weak opponent.
Yeah,
The Panthers are not good.
no.
So it's just similar. I was just a little down on Minnesota, and for let's face it, John, like you said, for 3 quarters it looked great. I'm down on the Panthers. I don't think they're any good. And I just think the Cardinals are just better. And I look at it when it comes to this spread stuff. If I think the Cardinals are going to win the game, unless it's a huge number, I don't mind giving less than 7. So to me, I think they're going to win. And I think, you're always vulnerable to the old backdoor cover stuff, right? Who knows? But that's it's a touchdown game. It's not a one-score game, but it's a one touchdown amount. So it's not a big number. I just like them at home. I think, I'm assuming it's going to be hot as all hell, which of course is a huge advantage, even though obviously Carolina is not exactly cold. But there's something about that Arizona heat. But I just think it's just the Cardinals are a better team, and that's it. I don't think I'm giving a lot. So anyway, that's what I'm going with. People are going to, and folks out there, quickly, John, quickly, always think about this when you hear guys make picks. Going against the prognosticator can be very lucrative as well. So there can be that, and then somebody out there might just say, "I'm going against Zuby the Greek because he doesn't know what he's talking about, doesn't follow the trends, he's picking this out of the air." So you can go against me every week and make a lot of money. So let's see how it plays out.
I actually, it's funny, while you're talking about the Cardinals, I have a Arizona Cardinal, very quick story.
Okay, what do you
I
got?
w- I was invited to a Knick game. This was many years ago, sitting in the second row, literally like right behind all the celebrities. And who was I sitting next to was Fitzgerald of the Cardinals.
There you go. One of the
Yeah,
all-time greats, Hall of
yeah.
Famer,
I
or
was
Hall
he
of
was
Famer to
sitting
be, I
right
should
next
say.
to me, and I recognized him immediately.
Nice guy.
Yeah, yeah, really. He was very polite. I'm trying to remember there was an announcer that he was speaking to. I forgot the man's name, David something. He was for Arizona. Oh
Okay.
God. Um, I can't remember.
What do
No,
you
for
mean?
the Phoenix Suns,
Yeah, I was going to
actually.
say Arizona. What are you saying? Come on, John. Come on.
No,
You
no,
can't.
for the
Phoenix
Phoenix
Suns.
Suns.
You
Yeah,
said
sorry.
Arizona. Confused me.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you talking about?
Anyway,
All right. Hey, that's a good. I'm going to I'll give you 30 seconds on the NBA. What do you got?
a couple of very quick things. We always talk about the ridiculous contracts. Josh Giddey got 4 years, $100 million for what? I don't know. Uh, Another ridiculous contract.
From the Bulls?
Yep, from the
Okay.
Bulls.
He's with the Bulls still. Okay.
Uh, a very happy announcement. Doris Burke will no longer be on the A team for NBA telecasts. Legler is going to be replacing her, Tim Legler. He's not bad. I've heard him, but
No, no, he's
I
good. He's
just
good.
couldn't listen to this woman. I mean,
I do the
Sorry to say, not my favorite. They still should bring back Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy, but Van Gundy's busy
that
being an
ship has
assistant
sailed. That
coach
ship has
somewhere.
sailed. Yeah, that's over.
And
He's
then very quickly, uh, a Linsanity. If anyone remembers Linsanity from Nick Lore, Jeremy Lin actually officially retired from basketball. Now, many people thought, including Mr. Zubulake, thought he was already retired, but he was playing basketball in China as well. So he became a star there, just like Stefan Marbury did. But he's officially retired, and you know what? He made something out of nothing,
sure
and
did.
and
Sure
we
did.
will never forget that time when he was just, I don't know, just unconscious with the way he was winning games for the Knicks while Carmelo was out injured. And then the amazing thing is that the Knicks actually offered him a multi-year contract, and he made the mistake of going after extra money with the Rockets. He really should have stayed with the Knicks.
He 100%.
Yeah,
100. My
that was a
God, the
mistake for
endorsements
him.
alone would have dwarfed what the difference was.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
Jeremy Lin, that was a great run. He was a good player. It was a lot
Yeah,
of
he
fun.
was.
Carmelo kind of sabotaged them, right? I mean, there was
Yes, he
definitely
did.
something there. Carmelo's not gonna, is not gonna go down in
Well,
my Hall of Fame.
yeah,
Um,
actually, Carmelo was inducted into the Hall of
yes,
Fame. Actually, for
yeah,
those of you who are listening and watching, if you want to listen or watch an excellent speech, was Carmelo Anthony's speech. He made a tremendous speech,
really,
one of the best ones I've ever heard.
wow.
So, yeah,
I
no,
guess he did.
I watched him. I watched it. His was top notch, top
All
notch.
right, there you go. Well,
Billy
he didn't mention.
Donovan was a little boring, Sue Bird, the two Long Islanders getting in.
Yeah, we should
Um,
mention that for the tri-state area fans. There you go.
yeah, Dwight Howard, which I don't know why he's getting into the Hall of
Yeah,
Fame.
that's a mystery. That's
Yeah,
a mystery. He's
didn't
not good.
understand that one. And then they
Well,
had Arison, the Miami Heat owner.
no,
Okay.
whatever. No one cares. No mention of Lala in
No, Lala
Carmelo's speech. Mention.
was not in the audience.
I don't think Lala and Carmelo get along anymore, John. That was kind of my joke.
No, she's busy in Hollywood
Is she?
trying, on all these different
Is
shows.
she? I have no idea. I haven't
Yeah,
followed her, but
playing,
I just love
playing,
her name. I love her
yeah,
name. All
playing
right,
very
John.
loose women.
Let's move on because we got to get out of here quick. So
Yep.
even this one will be abbreviated. But all I got to say is I don't know if I've ever seen a worse at bat than I saw last night when Francisco Alvarez. I mean, John, you're a baseball player. Please explain this to me. How can a professional baseball player look so bad swinging the bat in a crucial spot? That was bad. It continues to be bad, but we want to hear about it with baseball with Bouk.
Yeah, that uh, I was so angry with what he did in that at bat. As a player,
This is last
yes,
night, folks. I'm sorry. Yes, it was.
as a
She
player,
mentioned.
you have to anticipate what the pitch is going to throw. But I was saying to myself, okay, being watching Francisco throughout the entire game, I said, this guy's not going to throw him a fastball. I mean, Francisco was basically looking for a fastball on three straight pitches and swung at the same exact pitch so far out of the strike zone. It was what you're correct. It was one of the worst thought out at bats I've seen in a long time. He didn't have a shot,
It
and
was so bad.
it
They should
was
have pitched hit
so
for him.
bad. It was terrible, and the game was on the line. I mean, a base hit, the Mets go ahead. You had second and third.
John,
So
yeah, so we should mention, right? So we're talking on Tuesdays, and that's pretty much when we're going to do our shows. We talk on Tuesday night, then we drop for Wednesday. So this was the Phillies game last night, right, John? This was it last night, or I can't even
Yes,
keep
it was
track
last night.
anymore.
Last night.
Where you try so many sporting events is beyond belief, right? Between the football and that, so I was going back and forth. So that's what we're talking about. Duran, right? That's his name, the
Yes.
Phillies closer who throws so hard, but he didn't have to. And this is after who got the double get second and third? Who got the big?
It
Oh, was it
was
McNeil?
Vientos.
Oh, Vientos, right? He went opposite field. And the Mets need a better pinch runner than Mauricio. That's a pinch runner. Not very, John. I mean, the guy he didn't even like come close to coming home on that.
No, but you know why? And I was watching him. He stopped
Did he?
between first and second. Why are you stopping? It was clear that that was a base hit.
I didn't
Terrible.
see that.
Acuna would have scored on that.
Oh my John, a lot of guys would have scored on that.
Yeah,
The minute he hit it, I'm like, and then I see him like chugging along, coming around, after he touched second. I'm like, oh, forget it. He's not gonna come home.
he's not that fast. He's not that
He's
fast.
not. And what was it, Alonso? He was running for
Yeah, he was
Alonso.
running for Alonso. I
I mean,
actually Alonso might have had a better chance of scoring, even the
a
way he
better
runs
base runner,
Cano on
John.
his
It's
back.
just not like you said. It's not just about speed. It's about being able to read the play
Yeah,
and immediately take off and force them to make a good throw to get you out at the plate.
right, right.
Anyway, yeah, just a brutal
The
defeat. So
Mets
anyway, I'm
are,
interrupting you. So go. What's your
yeah, no, the
view
Mets
here?
are very difficult to watch. It's like I said, this is not, everyone's waiting for this magic to happen. They haven't won a game this year, not even one time when they're losing in the eighth inning. Okay,
Not once,
not,
right?
not one game. They're 0-60. Okay, this team is, unless some magic happens, they are not going anywhere because they're probably going to end up facing, unless the Padres come out of nowhere and overtake the Dodgers. It's either going to be the Dodgers or the Padres that they're going to end up facing. Whoever ends up first in the West, that's who the Mets are facing. And I would not want to be facing the Dodgers with the way their pitching staff has been pitching lately. It's going to be a very, very short playoff for the Mets. That's only best of three away. So, just a lot of negativity. I mean, they have Siri is actually starting in center field tonight
Is
because
he?
Mullins is just
It's been
he's
terrible.
he actually he's absolutely pathetic. How this guy has hit 16 home runs. He has shown nothing for the Mets. I mean,
Wasn't he?
he's
Yeah,
actually Taylor's better than him.
much better defensively. Much better. He's got
Yeah,
no
I
arm
mean,
too. Mullins can go get the ball, but he has no arm at all. I mean,
well, and there's been many instances where he's had to leap for a ball at the fence, but because he's so short, he's missing it. Whereas Taylor would probably catch the ball. So, not impressed with Mullins at all. The good thing is Soto is doing his job. I mean, most of the bullpen did their job last night. Even Helsley pitched actually very well, finally.
right.
Um, but one other thing. So the Mets have officially, and they're probably going to go over it, have officially tied the major league record for most pitchers used in a season. It's up to 45 this year. 45.
John, we're such trendsetters, man. I'm telling you. Uh,
It's insane. Um, One thing about you were mentioning about Mauricio.
yes, sir.
Why haven't the Mets sent him down? And Mr. Zubulake, there's another reason why they're not sending him down.
Okay.
Because if they do, he's going to use up his options, and they can't have him as a rookie next year. So if he's 2 days short of actually attaining that, they are not sending him down at all. That's the reason why he's been on the roster. He will officially still be a rookie next year, which means he'll have option to go down to AAA. If they sent him down now, they lost that and then they would have to either trade him or lose him on waivers or something.
Really? Okay, that's a good scoop. I had no idea. All right,
Yeah,
makes a lot of
yeah,
sense why he's been
yeah.
on the team now. We do this occasionally when we're taping. So John, oh, the Mets just scored. Oh, Vientos hit a home run.
Okay, good. He's been
4-1,
hot.
4-1 Phillies, top of the seventh.
Oh boy.
Mania.
Well, yeah, Mania again.
Guess how many
Another.
innings, John? How many innings do you think he pitched?
They already took him out.
It's the seventh inning.
Oh, it's the seventh already.
Top
All
of the
right,
seventh. Top of the seventh.
I'm gonna say he made it past 5.
Five exactly.
Okay.
Gave up 5 hits, 4 runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. The immortal Hagerman is in the game.
Oh,
Um, John, so let's do the book meter. Obviously, for the championship, winning it all, it's definitely a 10.
and
Can we do a 10 plus? But more importantly, very important, you've been very good on this. I was much more optimistic last week. You said no, I'm still at 5. Where are you today? The Mets getting in.
I'm at a 7 today.
7.
Yes,
Moving up the book meter.
and
Panic
I'm gonna
is
tell
this is
you.
negative, folks, when he's
I'm
moving it up.
gonna tell you why.
All right, what do you got?
Because you have multiple teams right now. The only thing that's saving the Mets right now from being completely overtaken is that the teams that are right behind them are playing each other. So as we speak, the Diamondbacks are playing the Giants. The Giants are only 3 games behind the Mets now. The Diamondbacks are 4.5. The Reds are 4. They're all playing each other. That's like the Reds are playing the Cardinals, the Diamondbacks are playing the Giants. So they're if they keep one team wins one game, another team wins another game, then it pretty much they're going to start eliminating the chances of them making the playoffs. But if let's say the Giants get hot, they're going to overtake the Mets. The Mets are playing. You got to understand the Mets schedule coming up right now.
What is
You
it?
have tonight with the Phillies. You have 2 more after this. Then you have the Texas Rangers, who are only half a game out of a playoff spot. All right,
Mm-hmm.
coming in for 3. Then you have the Padres, who want to finish ahead of the Dodgers, and they've been on a roll. So these are games that are. And by the way, the Rangers and the Padres are home. They have a very very tough schedule coming up.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Outside
Wait,
of
wait.
the
The Mets
Marlins,
are wait,
outside of
John.
the Marlins and the Nationals at the end of the season, which is on the road.
Okay.
Excuse me, the Nationals are at Citi Field, but they have some tough games coming up.
No,
I
I
mean,
just
they
want to
could be
clarify, John.
completely wiped out if they go on a losing streak right now. The Mets, if they lose like 7 in a row, they've lost 3 in a row. They may lose 4 in a row tonight. They could conceivably be overtaken. And I'm not confident right now at
Okay.
all because they're not putting it together at all. Pitching wise, hitting wise, they just, this is not a good team this year. I'm sorry.
No, I agree. But I just want to make sure, just clarify for the fans. The Texas series and the Padres series are at Citi Field.
Correct.
And then they go on the road. Who do they play on the road, you said?
No. And then after that, they actually have the Nationals for a couple of games at Citi Field.
Okay.
And then the rest of the year, the remainder of the year, they're on the road. They finish
How
out
many
on the
games?
road.
So, like how many? Who they play and how many
Uh,
games?
I believe they have 9 games on the road. I know they're going to play
Okay.
the Marlins. I'm trying to
Well, we can
remember.
look it up. Don't worry about it. I just wanted to make sure that so the Mets are ending their season is the last 9 games are on the road.
Correct.
All right, they've been bad on the road the whole year, so it doesn't matter who they're playing. They've been terrible on the road, right?
Actually, let me think about that. No, the last 6 are on the road.
Last
Excuse me.
6, because I guess yeah, they're down to like what 18 left or whatever.
18. Yeah, it's the last 6 on the road.
And
Yeah.
one of them's now. So yeah, they're still up top of the seventh. We're not going to give play-by-play. That's what we don't do on the Bouk and Zoobie show. But just wanted to kind of give John a little zinger before we say goodnight. So I know there's probably one other thing you wanted to mention on the baseball side. We just don't have enough time for the Yankees. We'll get to them next week, hopefully. So you got anything else? I think you do.
Um,
And if you don't, I'll let you know what I was
no,
thinking.
I mean, we could talk about it next week because I was going to speak about the Mets history of bad trades at the trading deadline. So we could save that for next week.
Oh yeah, well we could do that even as near the end of the season or after the season if something goes wrong. I thought you were going to mention Davy Johnson,
Oh,
the World
yes,
Series
yes,
manager
Davy
passing.
Johnson, yes.
Yes, so
Da-
that was
Davy
sad, obviously.
Johnson, a manager that you and I didn't exactly see eye to eye with his strategy. You particularly had a problem with him with the way he used Dwight Gooden many times, and we've spoken about that ad nauseum.
Do you have a Davy Johnson story from your years with the Mets? Do
I
you have one?
do.
All right, what do you got to end the show? What do we got? We're gonna have a story. What do you got?
All right. So when I was working in PR, there was if you remember, Rusty Staub. They had like I don't know, a little ceremony, and Darryl Strawberry was wearing some orange hair. This was before a game, if you remember that, where
I
all the
do
players.
remember. I do remember.
Okay, so I was up in the press box, which my friend has actually been in there. Mr. Zubulake and his sister actually sat there one time,
That's true. I do remember that too. Yeah.
and I was in the press box, and I was with another person from my department, and there were two young ladies. One of them worked for the Diamond Club, and then there was another young lady that was next to her. I didn't know who she was. So I was remarking when they were doing it, I said, I said, they really should keep Rusty Staub around for pinch hitting. I said, this is a really, really bad decision by Davy Johnson. And the girl that I didn't know says, "Oh, he just looks out for the best of the team. He's trying his best." I said, "I know, but this is one of those that it's an unforced error. He really should be still on the team. They shouldn't let him go." And she smiled and she goes, "Okay," just left. And the girl from the Diamond Club went with her and came back 5 minutes later. She goes, "John, do you know who you were just talking to?" I said, "No, I have no idea. Who is it?" She goes, "That's Davy Johnson's daughter. She's working in the Diamond Club over the summer." And I'm like, "Oh my God." So I went and sought her out, and I said, "Listen, I had no idea you were Davy Johnson's daughter." And she goes, "It's okay." She was laughing her head. She was actually pretty good looking too. Um, from Florida, nice girl. And
Well,
that's my
she's not
Davy
a girl
Johnson
anymore,
story.
John. Well, maybe she'll stumble across the Bouk and Zoobie show in her being that we talk about the Mets and the Jets and the Giants and everything about the tri-state. So again, we're back, folks, once a week. So we're going to try to keep our shows a little tighter. So John, what do you got? Who do you got to thank? Unless you have something completely so
No,
important that you have to say.
no. Again, other than about Davy Johnson, the fact is he's still the the highest win percentage and number of wins for the Mets. He did bring us a world championship.
Sure did.
Um, was a little loosey goosey in that clubhouse, as I've spoken about many times. But overall, great guy, very nice guy. Was one of the first ones to use, computer data. He was one of the first ones. Another very quick story is Davy Johnson was very, very involved at the time with real estate. And I remember, um, I don't know where I heard this from. I may have heard it from Jay Horowitz, where Sid Fernandez didn't know anything about real estate and was asking Davy Johnson about buying some property in Hawaii at the time. And Davy Johnson at the time, like I said, I'm sure he still owned a lot of real estate, advised him and taught Sid Fernandez how to go get a mortgage, how to purchase. He actually sat down with him every step of the way to teach him. Everyone assumes that all these guys know everything. They're players, they make all this money. He had no clue what to do financially. So Davy Johnson actually was very, he was almost like a financial advisor to some of these guys. So he wasn't
There you
just a
go.
manager, he was almost like their father.
Yep.
So,
Yep. No, they had a great run.
yep, yep.
Anyway, who do you got to thank, John?
As always, thank you to our producer, Zach Zubulake, and to our loyal listeners and viewers. We love the feedback. Keep it coming. You know, critique us. We're open ears here. Also, thanks to our community partners, Ronald McDonald House, Kids in Seats, and the Jackie Robinson Foundation. We will see you next week.